Well, hi, good morning, and welcome to my shop. And we're listening to my radio, and boy, does it sound like nothing's happening. When I was tuning around here, getting more, just before starting the video, getting more and more panicky that my radio was broken down. It's just nothing until I hit this.
015053. If you'd like to know more, you can go to our internet.
So I don't know, it's a shortwave week today. I'm down here at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's not the best time, maybe. Early morning is an interesting time on shortwave, as the sun is rising in that. Same thing with sunset, of course, but the sun's well up now. So what I want to do today, see, I have two tubes here. I have a 6C4 and a 6BA6, and these are bad tubes. These are well below the reject point. These are weak tubes. They still work, but they're weak. And I'm going to cycle these through the radio in different places. There's a couple of places for a 6C4 oscillator tube and quite a few places for a 6BA6. I'm going to cycle them through, replace one by one the tubes that are in here, which I believe are all very good tubes. And we'll see what happens when a weak tube is in the radio. That's my objective today. So first we got to get comfortable with how well it's working.
And climax this most powerful end-time messenger's message by coming just like he said.
So another thing I've done here, you can see there's a switch. It's just sitting here. It's not mounted on the radio. It's just sitting here. This is going to the radio antenna. This is coming from the outdoor antenna, and this is coming from the signal generator, and I can just switch between them. So what I'm going to do now is I don't think I want to do these right on top of each other. We're going to use this guy's signal because I think he's going to be here for a while.
That's the reason you get to see your mother. And look, if you're going to go see your mother,
relatively
go see your mother.
steady.
Don't come here and play games with me.
Maybe what I'll do is, oh my gosh, now here's something about this radio. I think you can see the numbers on it. Now I've got this tuned up perfectly at the ends of the dial. We're in the middle of the dial. That's 10 megahertz there. And you can see where it's coming in. It's way off. So there's a non-linearity in the way the radio operates as compared to the dial here. And although it's accurate on the ends, it's out in the middle. I've noticed this on other bands, the same thing. Always to the same direction. Can I compensate for that? I don't really believe so. So that's as good as we get there. 920. 920. So what we'll do is we'll go back to Brother Stare. He's right on that marker there. Keep talking.
You think I can't hear your questions? But there's a reason for it.
Okay, so I'm going to just dial it to there. And I'm going to put the signal generator at that location. He says. A little lower. Oh, I got to flip the switch here. I got to remember now. Flip the switch. Oh yeah, let's find it. Now, I'm going to set I don't need to. I was going to set the two of them to the same level, but they're pretty similar now. So that's the signal generator. I don't have any tone running on it. I think I better put tone on. I'm going to put the 1000 hertz tone on here. So we're going to be able to go from the signal generator to Brother Stare. Where'd he go? Oh, I gotta throw the switch. No, it's not that way. It's here. Where'd he go? I lost him. Brother Stare. Did he fade out? Maybe we're gonna do this just with the signal generator then. Well, we can always come back to here too. another stair there. Okay, back to the signal generator. And that's my phone rattling away because I have it in my pocket again. Okay. Now I didn't mention though, while I've been working on this radio, it's had a baby. And the baby's going to be on the bench next. I'll show you the baby. This is the guy who's next. A helicopters. Another communications receiver. Okay, are we ready to go? I think we're ready to go. Of this wire. So I tested it ahead of time, but it definitely has a fault in it. Yeah, didn't want to leave. Sorry, buddy, you're going to get retired. Okay, so I have to get another cable. Son of a gun. 12 minutes. Okay, new connection. Wow. There's a difference. That wire is going into garbage. Wow. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Cut her back. Excellent. Okay, we're in much better shape now. Wow, I almost... If you're going to try to do something on a quantitative level, there's usually a lot of things that are interfering with success. That's what I find in doing this kind of work. You know, if I had a more professional shop here in a better situation, yeah, maybe. But mostly I'm fighting with my equipment. A lot when I'm doing tests on the radio, I'm really testing out the equipment and testing myself at the same time. Holy smokes. Well, this is great. So let me now recalibrate over here and just be sure that the signal generator is working at... So if we want 1, this would be 1 microvolt coming out. 0.1 times 10 full here. That's 1 microvolt now. This is 1 microvolt. Now, is it 1 microvolt? It's 1 microvolt coming out of the signal generator. Is it 1 microvolt reaching the radio? Well, that's debatable. Can't be more. Shouldn't be more. This guy, the selectivity might have a big bearing on. No, the other thing that might have a bearing is tuning the radio. No, it's right on. ABC is on, so we should be getting the works. The meter, you can't see it, but it's down in its delay position, which means there's not enough signal to bring up any ABC voltage at all. But that's up a little bit. So this meter is not actually showing you the ABC voltage, like most. This is showing you, in an attempt to show you the signal strength, but the real ABC voltage is kind of on this meter, I think. So what do we do about this now? We'll try fiddling with the adjustment back here some more. Didn't do anything before, won't do anything now. I'm pretty sure it is just an audio adjustment. So there's a meter drive tube, isn't there? Isn't there a meter? I think I'm turning it up. Yeah, so it's well below the 0. What would it take to get to the 0? Let's try that approach. To get this up to the 0, okay, with that on 0, the actual signal strength is 6.5 microvolts. Let me check the calibration over here quickly. 6.5 microvolts. Well, you know, that's not bad. That's within 10. I think that's pretty good. Does that mean that if this 0 is actually 6, that this would be 60 decibels above 6? I don't know. I can hardly add numbers, let alone do that kind of stuff. But that's not bad. That's okay. Now, another way of looking at this is, so how good a signal is this? At 0, it sounds great out of the signal generator, but that's a pretty false deal. That's why I wanted to put the antenna here. So now it's suggesting the noise is -6, -7, 8 decibels. Let's tune in somebody anything. Good, I think I got enough of a grip on this now. I can go ahead and start these tube substitutions. So there are quite a few tubes in here. My clock. 2 seconds behind. Pretty good. Isn't really saying where they are, but there's one here, a couple down in here, here, and here, I think. There's quite a few of them. I think it doesn't really matter what order we do it in, but we might as well start right at the first RF tube. I'm going to pull it out and stick in this bad guy. This one. Do this with the radio operating. I had a glove here that I was using. It was great.
At the zone, 14 hours, 37 minutes, coordinated universal time.
And then I just saw it a moment ago too. Anyway, I'll pull it out. There we go. Wow, was that ever hot? Oh, smokes. Hey, this thing's hot. Okay, this is the first RF tube coming out. Oh, this is the worst stuff to pull away. Probably wiping the... I gotta find that glove. I must find the glove. Found it. Okay. Tube pulling glove. Hot as heck. Man, that's hot. There we go. The weak tube is in. Which tube did I put in? Did I put in? Yes. Yes, I put in the right tube. Well. So the way I tested this tube on my tube tester here. This tube tester gives 2 ratings for every tube test. It gives a like new or a really good reading, and then it gives a you better replace it at this point reading. So for the 6PA6, the you better replace it is up here, and the actual test was coming into town. So this is well below you should replace it, according to this tube tester. The 6C4 I have is the very same. It's really quite weak. So what happened here? So again, we're listening to a fading signal. Does it sound any different to anybody? Now we'll flip over to the signal generator here. It's pretty stupid. I don't remember what it was. Now that tube is so hot. Just having my hand here, I can feel the heat from it. I This doesn't seem normal. So we're just above 0. Let me write this down, Jim. Yeah, I'm supposed to have a table here already for this. V1, and then we go normal and test. Okay, I write down on the test. Are we tuned in? Yeah, tuning is very stable. So we're between 6 and 0. I'd say that's -3. So I'm going to put a -3 here for test. Now we're going to put the hot tube back in, and I'll make a note this time. Here we go. Tube out. This is a good tube pulling glove here. No, it's still too hot. Pretty warm. Okay, there's a good tube going in now. Tube is in. Now, I threw that shield. It was so hot. I just threw it. Where did I throw it? I whipped it. I whipped the tube shield. Oh, there it is. Okay, tube shield going on. Okay, so with the normal, what I'll call the normal set of tubes, we're right on the 0 where I set it. That's right. I thought I'd done that. So that's V1, and now we'll do V2. V2, probably a very similar result, including the burning of my hand is probably going to be similar. 2 coming out. That's a hot tube. Okay. Ooh, this one's hot too. They're all hot. All hot. Hot. Hey. It's very cold outside. I can tell you, boy. It was -18 this morning when I got up. That is cold. You add in a little bit of wind. Oh boy, that is really, really cold. Okay, so we put the weaker tube now into V2 position. Oh, look at that, it's coming right up. Oh, it's going above. What does that say? So it's actually +3 now. Something change? My setup? Tuning? No? That would only make it go down anyway. Well, surprising to me. What isn't surprising?
With your look, with your action, with your response. It makes no damn difference. See, you folks don't realize that this is the last time. Oh, I seen him. Then tomorrow. Look at this. Look at your faces. You're not talking to me. I'm brushing up on you.
I'm going to put the original back in.
After long abstinence.
This dead one seems to be doing better. How can this be?
Oh, it's force than this.
Before I do that, I'm going to test the supposed bad one.
I stayed away from
You can have a listen to Brother Stare here while we're doing
and I hope that God don't compel me to come back and face you again. Because you got daggers in your eyes. You got a sword in your mouth. You got hardness in your heart. And boy, oh boy, don't look at me when you're talking like that back there. Look, I washed the dishes. I cleaned this. I done that. I think it was yesterday when I talked to Mark. I said, Mark, I want that credit card moved. I'll get it. Because I'm going to stop this buying. Because you guys won't pay no attention to me. You're like my children out there, your children. This is going to stop. The buying and selling is what's going to damn almost 99% of the people living on this earth. Stop looking at me like that. Who will not have might, will not be able to buy or sell. How in the world can you live without buying and selling?
So this
Although
tube
I try to teach
tests
you
way
that.
up here. The tube that's in the radio right now tests down here.
Your head's gonna go like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what's going on here. So I put this tube back in. Brother Stare, what is with you today? He's in a church. He's preaching in a church right now. It's getting a little strange there. Okay, I'm going to switch tubes right in the middle of this entertainment here. 60 solid. Sorry, it's kind of interesting listening to that, but we are doing science here. This is throwing up high. I had it set for 0. This is almost plus 6 now. Okay. What did I do with the tube? Here it is. Okay. Going in. That didn't just make a difference, did it? No, I can't see that. Tube is out. This tube in. This is a test of the radio, test of the tube, tester, test of my equipment. Everything's under test here. It's coming right up on 0. Did I look at the wrong 0? I looked at the wrong 0. That's what I did. That's what I did. I looked at the wrong 0. Oh, what a stupid idiot. Okay, I made the mistake. I won't make it again. So this is right on 0. And the other one was probably right on the 0 too. We have to go back. We have to go back. Original out. Test 1 in. Test dead guy. So, you know, like amplification of circuits, especially with transistors and that, is much more dependent upon the circuitry than the device. You can switch devices, you still get the same gain out of circuits. Especially if you're working with, you know, operational amps and stuff like that. It's all the external circuit that controls it. Well, it's come up. It's right on the 0. You know what? It's going above the 0. Yeah, I didn't read it wrong. This is what I read. I read that little tiny gap there. It's definitely plus 3 on the weaker tube. What are we reading here? How's it sound? Where are you, brothers there? Where'd you go? WWD's kind of disappeared too. So I think that's where WWD is. Oh, you bozo. Yep, I can make a lot of mistakes here. There it is. Having a great time, aren't they? Weak tube. Signal to noise, stuff like that. Deep fade, but it seems to come up to the 40 or so. And the signal generator. There we go. Oh yeah, right. Plus 3. switching back now. So I didn't hear any difference in listening to Brother Stare. He sounded just as crazy as he did with the other tube. The tube does not relieve craziness. Yeah, I'm going to have to retest the bad tube. How bad is the bad tube? Did I make a bad test? It's actually a good tube. Dead on zero. That's counterintuitive. The weaker tube gives you a higher reading here. It's very, very counterintuitive. So we're back to the normal tube complement. Let's take a peek at the tester here. Just got to push the button. Oh, so it's right on. It's not as bad as I thought. I thought I tested it down here. So this is within the range of acceptability, and the radio seems to be working in an acceptable way, although it's down near the bottom. Why the higher reading out of a weaker tube? It's definitely weaker. Because the other tube, at least on this tester, the other tube came up right to the top of the scale. Oh my, doesn't it just raise questions of all sorts? For instance, the tester can be testing the tube under a certain, it is testing it under a certain condition. In the radio, the tube is operated under entirely different conditions. So a tube that could test weak here might actually work better in the radio simply because of the variation in the operating conditions of the tube. But it's really, it tells you, splitting hairs is a waste of time. That's what it tells you. Kind of, as I'm trying to split hairs here. Let's move on to the next 6BA6 position. No, let's get a weak, I gotta stop and get a weak tube. A truly weak tube. The thing is, yeah, I got a bag of tubes here, but there aren't any dead ones in here. I got rid of all the dead ones, and the ones that were really, really weak are gone. They're in a box away from here. So chances of me finding a really, really bad one here, maybe it's not so high. That's the same as the last one. So I'm just going to keep working through my bag of tubes here. It's great to know I got a bunch of good ones, but I need a bad one. So this isn't going well. All these tubes are testing good, like really good. A couple of weaker ones over here, they all test not below the reject point. This one tests at the reject point, according to this tube tester. And I'm having a lot of trouble here with socket tube test socket. There we go. Well, this looks really weak. This looks really weak. This is the weakest one so far for sure. And most of them are going all the way up to the top. The reject point is here, where my finger is. This is a weak one. Okay, the good news is all those tubes are good. We finally have a definite weak one. Okay, now I know for sure. So the tube I was using as the weak tube was actually testing at the sort of the lower limit. It wasn't really bad. Now I got a bad one. Okay, stop for a sec here and get things sorted out. Okay, ready on the same tests over again. So I have what I consider to be the normal complement of tubes in here. We've got the signal. It's a hair below zero here, so I'm gonna bring it up onto the zero mark. Okay, there. Now it's on zero. Pop out that first tube. So, it's the first tube. You think, hey, it must be the most important. There's a good chance it is. Here we go, coming out. glowing like the heat of the sun coming out of that tube. Okay, next one. Is it normal for tubes to get so hot you can burn yourself on them? Oh yes, 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 yes. Especially certain tubes. What is it gonna do with this weak guy? Looks like it's gonna be about -5 decibels. You know, I mean, does that make any difference at all? I put this terribly weak tube in, and is it really that much different? Let's listen to something here. Maybe that'll show it. Okay, I'm not moving any controls here. That would say, oh, I gotta move this. Yes, Jim, come on. Sounds quieter to me. Oh
The
my gosh.
U.S. Department of Defense encourages the amateur radio community to continue to expand station access to the
So I put in a weak tube, sounds better? Come on.
The 16-meter channels are the only audio channels where department cellular and amateur radio interoperate. For more information about the 16-meter band and
Listen to this for about a minute, and then I'll switch the tube back.
to www.vodmarf.com.
The highest reading we're getting from the station signal is about 0. If you wanted to believe this, we'll go up there. I don't think this meter's terribly believable. It's incredibly non-linear, like, well, maybe they made it that way. They wanted to spend most of its time straight up. It's really crushed in the middle. And it's really spread out here. Okay, I'm ready to switch back now. Put on the strong tube. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to measure this strong tube. How strong is it? Put up the tube tester here. Keep listening while we do this. Yeah, look at that. So this is like the strongest tube of them all here. This is the muscle bound tube. So something wrong with it. Why it's so hot? The heater's running super hot. That's what makes it so good. I think it's running its normal temperature. I have no reason to think it's not.
15 hours, 12 minutes, coordinated universal time.
I like watching my clock up there. Okay, tube out. This is quite listenable. Occasionally fades to almost nothing. Mostly hanging around the +6 area here. And the this is the one we really should check here. So it's pretty close to the 0 mark. Almost back to where it was. This is the really weak tube. This is the really strong tube. I'm not going to get past even doing 2 tubes here. That's okay. It's coming in just a little higher now than the last tube. There's a whole set of critical 6BA6s in the IF string. Those might be more interesting to do than this. So it's really made very little difference, I think. Okay. It seems louder.
What's the matter, folks? Got a bunch of guilty looks on your face.
So right away he's higher. This meter's swinging higher over here too, and can't see it. Can't see it.
Know what the Bible tells you to do? After you've done all to stand upon the promise.
15 hours, 14 minutes.
That seems worse. I'm going to switch the tubes again. Let's listen to this for a bit. This is the better tube, the dramatically better tube. More than twice the transconductance of the other two. And doing this with fading signals is, check the tuning here. Right on. Okay, switching. I'm so confused. Switching out the good tube. Putting in this sick puppy here. That's a geriatric tube. Get a fair bit of time to really warm up properly. Maybe a minute. Okay. Again, fading signals, right? This is really tricky to do with a fading signal. If somebody walked up to you and said, I think there's a weak tube in this radio, how would they ever know? How would they ever know? The weak tube in position number 1.
At the dome, 15 hours, 16 minutes, coordinated
But I don't think it's better. That's the case. So, check that. So we're getting about a -3 here. I'm going to put in the good tube. And that'll be it for that. Just going back and forth so much. So under this test using a signal generator, there's definitely a difference. The better tube is bringing this up about 3 decibels according to this meter, which I wouldn't rely on in any way. But the difference is very minimal. That's the part I find so surprising. Okay, we're going to do V2. So out comes V2. Another RF amplifier here. That's what makes this radio great. 2 RF amplifiers before you get to the mixer. Weak tube in. It's going to go higher. It's going higher again. So that you have to question now, how good is this tube that I just took out? So a lot of the old timers, I guess I'm getting to be an old timer too, they'll tell you the tube test is in the radio, not in one of these. So I think it's probably a really good general rule that a bad testing tube works bad in whatever equipment you put in. That's probably a general rule. But when things are close to the line, maybe that rule doesn't quite hold. Look at that. She's a beauty. So no question. The tube that was in the radio is much stronger in terms of mutual conductance. Now look, transconductance. This is a +6 now. I just would never. This is not at all what I expected to have happen here. Oh, flip the antenna. As the day progresses, this signal is going to get stronger until sometime later in the afternoon it'll start fading out again. Well, the week 2, who cares? That's kind of what this is turning into. Now we're going to switch it back to the week 2 here. Just do this. This is now plus, at least plus 10 on here. Okay, bad tube out, good tube in. I'm going to put this bad tube back in the tube tester. That's what I think about it. How bad is it? Have I resuscitated it doing this? It's in. Put this guy in the tester. Just a hair over 0. I would say the other tube gives a higher reading on this meter. Now, what we're not measuring here, just by listening, it's the only way we can really measure it, signal to noise ratio. I don't have the equipment to do that, nor the wherewithal. But just listening with my ears. Okay.
Yeah, I was pastor of a church for 2 years. Yeah, Amityville. Yes, sir, boy. I was preaching in Hammarlund one time under a tent.
Bad tube? Oh.
And all of a sudden, a black dude come in.
That's not so bad.
Bandanas on him.
The
Get the
bad
hell
tube's
out of
not
our
bad.
community.
What the heck?
Come over and take his money. You white guys come and take money out of from our black folks.
How did that happen?
Will they do that? Will people do that? Huh? He stood right here in front of his tent. Shut up! Yes, Lord. And one of the young guys said to me, young black fellow, he said, "Preacher, are you going to go out there and shoot with that guy?"
That's a bad one.
I said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, we know him. He will kill you." I said, "I'm going out there." I said, "He can kill me. I'm not God's man."
Hallelujah. Glory.
Charge to it.
Glory.
I got to find out. I got to find out.
Glory.
Maybe you don't need to find out.
Put it on the English setting. Just read good, bad. I think I have a bad one. So I'm going to mark that too.
I went out. There was 3 or 4 other young men. They had a hold. I said, "Christian, don't come out there with him." I said, "We know him. He will kill you."
Okay, I think I got a bad one. Let's go.
I
Quickly.
said, "I gotta go."
Back to the radio.
Don't go. You go back inside.
Glory.
I'm talking about 4 black guys now defending me
Jay, this is the bad one.
against another black guy. You follow me?
No, I don't follow you.
See? So I said, "Oh," I went back. I started walking back in the tent, and I.
V1 coming out.
Here's what I heard.
Oh. Producing right on zero of the meter. Okay, tube out. again. A weak one. We know it's weak. You know what's weak? I think I'm weak. I think that's what's my... I am weak. There, put these tube covers on. Okay, good show. Okay, it looks like it's not going to make it up to 0. Showing some signs of weakness. We'll listen. Seem quieter? Oh, it's another religious broadcast from the States. Here's Brother Stare.
What do you think you come over here in our neighborhood and...
Week 2?
I said, be quiet. No, you'll be quiet. Hallelujah.
There seems to be like a very steady noise level behind the signal. A bit of a rushing sound. It's very steady. It's not fading in and out. Oddly enough. Okay, so we'll switch back now. Very weak tube. Hard. You know, who would know? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be suspicious. I'd be happily listening to this radio. Now, I suppose if you string 4 or 5 weak tubes in here, you're going to get somewhere. But get back on the strong guy, the original.
Standard time intervals and other related information. Inquiries regarding these transmissions may be directed to the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Radio station WWB, 2000 East County Road 58, Fort Collins, California, 80524.
So now the hiss, to me, the background noise is going up and down, as it should. There still is that kind of level. I can hear it right now. Kind of a level. It's kind of a machine-y quality to it. Maybe it's interference from something. Not a dramatic difference. Some difference, but not a dramatic difference. Okay, we're gonna go back to the signal generator here and get a quantitative idea of what's up. Okay, the meter's right back up to 0, where we set it. And now I'm going to put the weak tube into the V2 position. This is the one where every time I put a weak tube in, what I thought was a weak tube, it got better. Let's see if that happens again. Pretty sure. I'm thinking what could happen on my tube tester, since I have trouble making the heater connection when I plug the tubes into the socket. Maybe sometimes the heater connection is half made, and so the result is you get less heater current, less heater temperature, and you get a poor functioning tube in the tube tester. So this has come up, it's above 0. It is above 0. And it sounds fine. It's getting up towards 6 now. So if I hadn't put these tubes through a tube tester, I would declare this tube to be a better tube than that tube. On the tube tester, wow, this tube is twice that tube. Now we're up to pretty much plus 6. It's just so counterintuitive.
I told you yesterday. Captain call you? I wouldn't let you stay around here.
So that other signal is reading here. Going away.
Get rich off it. Well, you might get a good paycheck, but it won't be enough to last you for the rest of your life. He's still trying to figure me out.
Oh,
You're not going to...
that's Brother Stare too. That's stronger.
He's still trying to figure me out.
What's that doing?
Haven't discussed me at all, have you? No.
Plus 40 plus 50.
Now, while I'm doing that, the young man
Plus
standing
60.
there, hold that knife out and he's shaking. He's just shaking, just trembling like that. I want to cut your guts out, Whitey. I want to cut your guts out.
Okay, quick like a bunny.
That's
Switch
it.
back.
Push it. You can kill me, man.
Well, not going to be quick like a bunny now. Quick like a squirrel. I'd say quick like a cat, but cats lay around, you know, they're not quick.
The flu rages. The country's in trouble. Well, we don't hardly, unless I tell these folks, they don't even know about it. We're going to see food stamps, food riots.
40,
We're seeing riots now.
45, getting close to 60, but not doing it.
We're going to see them try to overthrow our government. And our government's pretty well overthrown already.
So it could be improvements in the signal to noise, and I'm not sensitive to it when we're doing this test. But for now, that's a better tube. My bad tube.
As
Why
I
are
was
they
talking to
stick
that
this
guy
one?
with that knife, all of a sudden a little
I
black
can't
mom,
believe it. I gotta get my
little
bad tube
black
back.
mom was sitting in the
Give me
tent.
back my bad
She's
tube.
crying out.
That was quick. That was quick like a bunny that time.
Because most black people are raised in homes without daddy. But their mom was strong. They always had strong moms. You never want to talk to a black man about his mama and put her down. Never.
No, but you can do that with white people, I guess,
You may
eh? You
not fight
stupid
any
fool.
of them. You start touching his mama.
And now I must make a political comment. It's not even a political comment. Listen to me. There's only one race of human beings on this planet. Homo sapiens. We're all the same race. Doesn't matter where you're born. Doesn't matter who your parents are. Doesn't matter anything. We're all the same race. The differences are very unimportant. Skin color and stuff like that is meaningless. Does not indicate race. It indicates nothing more than what color your skin is, for crying out loud. People are upset over cultural differences. That's nothing. That's the stuff you learn after you come out of your mother, depending upon where you are in the world. If you're here, you'll learn that culture. If you're there, you'll learn that culture. It doesn't mean a darn thing. We're all the same. Okay, that's the end of that.
I always live with the people. Wherever I went, I would always live with the people. Always. And that's the best house you ever saw me live in, right down there the other day. Someplace
Okay.
with just an old box or just an old room. I've always done it.
Out comes the bad tube.
I pay their bills.
In goes the supposedly good one. Well, maybe what can be said is fooling around on the front end of the radio with weak tubes doesn't mean much.
Jesus coming. Do you know him? Or do you just know about him? Some of you don't even know about him. You heard his name. I'll tell you where most of you guys heard his name. Jesus Christ. God damn it. Oh, buddy. Do you ever wonder why when they...
This guy spends all day on the radio like this. I believe we're hearing him live. and he's just on the radio all over the place all day long. Oh my gosh. Occasionally he says some pretty interesting things, but mostly not really. Okay, let's try a 6BA6 somewhere in the IF string. So I'm thinking V9 is the first IF amplifier, I believe, then V10, then V11, I believe. So pull out V9 and stick a weak one in there. Let's go back to the tone. So this is a whole different section of the radio now. Right on 0 again. Very, very consistent. So now I'm going to pull out, well, so I got V7, but I don't think that's, V7 is the, that's a special tube. We'll stay away from V7. We'll go to V9, which is an amplifier tube, which again is very awkward to do. V9, we got the weak J here. Okay, pulling out V9. Very hot. Putting in this guy here. Oh, oh, oh. These sockets are very forgiving in this radio. If you go to put a tube in and you kind of miss it, for the most part, they're forgiving. That's if you're doing this live, which is not really the smartest thing to do, but there. Got it in. Now, often in these radios, the main amplification is really coming out of the IF string. The job of the first couple of tubes is to, as I understand it, give you great signal to noise, great selectivity, image rejection, stuff like that happening. Okay, so look, we're definitely lower here. We've gone lower. Now this is like putting in a bad, this is really like a really worn out tube going in. How bad is it? So this is V9. Maybe I can find one tube position that's particularly sensitive. It says a -4. V9 -4. Okay, that's all we got to do, I think. I don't think I'm going to bother. Maybe we'll listen to it once here, yeah. It's pushing 70 that time. 75, getting close to 75.
That was scary.
80, 82. So maybe the signal may be getting stronger while I'm doing this.
Bingo.
90. Oh, I gotta pull it out of there. Let's see what
That's
happens.
how much a few brothers.
100, pushing 100. Oh, smokes.
I'm getting accused of trying to kill her. Are you guys ever so
Bad.
just sit there looking at me like that?
100. I haven't seen 100. I don't think I've ever seen 100 on this radio. Tube out. Okay, this one in. Come on. Try again. Come on, we're gonna forget what it sounded like. Phooey. Go in there. What's so tough about this? There. Ah, it took too long. Took too long. I could use my video recordings to do this. Add another level of complications here. We're gonna get anywhere near 100?
I can't handle it. I know I can't put my hands on it. I can't.
This is just inconceivable. Every time I put in the week 2, I get way better performance. Or what appears to be better performance. So this isn't getting above 40.
Now when she'd go down, she'd go down. Do you know how many people in America are now president? Over 50%.
Not above
The
40.
American people. Get depressed.
I have to put the bad tube back on. One more time.
Like me.
Really, it's just not going to make it above 40.
American people are just like devil.
40. 40, just,
From the high up to the down.
there, it's pushing hard now. 45 maybe.
Trump when he's raised. You understand?
Well, that's the reason I do these things, is to find out if what I believe is true is really true. Go in. Son of a gun. Is there a chance they optimized the radio for worn out tubes? No, I can't imagine that.
The Bible says, woe be unto the inhabitants of the earth. For Satan
Over
hath
40
come
already.
down unto you, having great wrath.
60.
Why? For he knows he has but a
Listen to the
short
sound.
time.
It's way better.
He knows.
In the last two,
And the
there was a lot of
Bible said,
interference with
It
it.
was given unto Satan to make war with the
What is
saints
going on here?
and prevail.
So it's certainly not getting up to
We're in
100.
the war. We're in the war. But see, our weapons are not guns.
So this has proven to be a very, very difficult thing to sort out. I thought this would be as easy as could be. That was a 40.
That's truth. Truth is my shield and buckler.
What happened to the 100 we were getting?
I had no idea when God led me here 45 years ago. No idea what I was here for. No idea.
Above 60 now. Right on the 0. I'm going to test the tube that was in the radio. Oh, you know what? The mistake I made? I made a mistake.
No, you can see what he's doing. And the reason I let him sleep, because I know his old brother.
It's way over. The other tube's here. This tube's here. The mistake I made is brother stairs in two places on the radio. I tuned him to the weaker spot. Here he is in the stronger spot. That's not one of the highest readings I've ever seen on this meter.
Yep. One morning after I got a lot of phone calls, I said, somebody's calling, where's
And
Craig
yet,
Mack?
when we flip to the meter, no, it definitely goes a little above 0. 6 plus 6. Plus 6. I'm losing my mind. Stronger one.
She gets something.
It's getting close to pinning the meter. It was 110.
I wish somebody in
100.
this house would back me up with a loud voice.
Back him up. With a loud tube. I'm trying, brother Stare. Here we go. Hallelujah! Just as I yank it out of there. So that's definitely the J tube. There's no question I got this going right. So now we're going to put in the strong tube. The strong tube going in. So I just can't quite get it right. I don't like this. Poking around. Oh, come on. There. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Okay.
You know what I got done? Come on, give it off. And they give it off. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy.
The other tube is pushing this meter up over 100. It's unbelievable.
I've come. Leaning. Trusting.
How nice it's going to get us, 50 or 60. Well, let's try another one. So we'll just go to the next one, V10, just further along the string here, the IF string. All the weak tubes I've thrown out over the years.
20-some years.
Okay, there it is. This is even tighter. Oh my gosh, this is really tight. For the hand, tight for the hand. Down there. Way down there. So it's really quite challenging here. Right in. Right in. This is the weak tube now.
Didn't even know. Never met him.
Let's check it on the standard. It's coming up low. Instead of reaching 0, it's -3. That's very similar to -3 dB is a half power, or something like that. Weaker. Set appears to be weaker. Try to get the loud brother stare here.
Are you listening to me? I mean, are you really listening to me? He said she got a client. I said,
40, 50?
She got a client. I said, look, you go in and just tell Audrey that
About the same in this position, it seems.
She said, but she told me not to be, they want to be disturbed.
Same as the original too. I'll test the original too. Once I put this radio back in its operating position, it's really hard to access anything. So I plan to put it back and have it sit there for another 5 years without touching it, without fiddling around with it.
And I prayed for that little boy. And they never forgot me how God touched that little boy. So if Audrey was alive today, and you mentioned my name to her, Kurt. So she went into, and I heard her say, Audrey said, I'm busy. I got a client here. Are you listening to me? Are you really listening to me?
We're really listening to you all night.
Yeah, I told you not to disturb me. I got a client here. She had a deal going.
Good.
In real estate. She said, well, the man said his name was his brother Stair. She said, oh, she jumped up real quick. Hey, brother Stair. good to see. What's on your mind? I said, Audrey, I want to sell the motel.
60.
She said, what? I said, I want to sell the motel. What? So I got a guy in here right now.
Okay, pulling the tube out. Our weak test tube. And I'll put this one in. Right in. So that's the original going back in.
Behold, I show you a mystery.
So another possibility is if a weak tube
Well, a mystery.
operates with more strength, maybe it's
He might
indicating
have
that
deceived you a little bit to get you here.
the radio's
To make you think he had a good story.
operation is
But you
wrong,
do. A good story.
and it's providing incorrect voltages, and it's turning out to make a weak tube better than a... That's a stupid idea. It's just stupid. How do you explain it? I don't know. Let's take a look at the
These seats come out of research that we had in West Virginia.
next tube is V11. See what it's doing.
These came out.
V10.
Above down.
V11 IF driver.
Hallelujah. Glory.
Okay, sounds like one worth
We
trying.
built this bar itself.
What happens if the IF driver is weak? So I think what it does, it takes the output of the IF, boosts it up, and makes it right for the detector. I think that's what it's doing. This is easy to access. Coming out. Going in. Oh. In the meantime, I'm going to put this in the tester.
All over America.
So this tube just came out of the radio. Look, it's not nearly as hot.
Ever heard about Jesus?
It's hot, but it's not nearly as hot. I've been holding it. What's happening?
Jesus Christ. You heard about him, didn't you?
So there are 3 separate heater circuits in this radio for all these 6-volt heater tubes. And one of them running high, frying up my tubes up here.
I wish somebody get excited.
Interesting question. Let's do the our standard here. Oh my gosh. So now we're plus 15 here. It's supposed to be on 0. We're plus 15. Weak tube in. Okay, so the tube that was in there is in the tester now. How weak was it? It's not weak at all. So this is a really magic tube I picked out. Test weak. Secret hidden strength. Wow. I don't get it. I really don't get it here. There's obviously a lot more to this than I'd ever realized.
As you look at that video,
Okay, brother. Do your thing. It's very quiet.
I was not groping her. She was sitting right there. And if you listen to the whole dialogue, you just listen to it.
So I'm at 60.
See, people don't want to hear me. They want to see me. What came for you out here to see?
Yeah, switching these tubes is
There's
really doing
here
nothing
for
more
you
than
to see.
recalibrating this
You
meter.
Come here to hear.
That's hard to believe.
And what are you going to hear? Jesus coming. And I might ask you another question. Do you know Jesus? He knows you. Jesus knows you. He
does,
knows
eh?
you. Before you were born, he knows you.
Before you were born, he knows you.
And
how do you know this, Brother Stair?
You know him.
What's your authority for making these claims?
And when you meet somebody does know him,
Well,
you're going
it's
to get
floating around 50.
Jesus wouldn't act like this, would he?
Let's put the good
You know one of
guy
the
in.
first things Jesus did? You want
Heater voltages. Who would have thought? Oh, you know what? This came out of the tube tester. I can still hold it. Something about this particular tube, it tested good. Like if the heater was shot, it wouldn't test good. Right in. Still hot enough to operate.
We're getting rich. You know, we've got 10 billionaire preachers in America. Billionaire preachers. 10.
Okay. Bless you, Lord.
We had the first billionaire president. No other president was worth billions, 10 billion. None of them. None of them. And since this president's been in, now we got a bunch of other guys getting become millionaires.
Hallelujah.
Come on, he's making them rich, and the poor poor.
Okay.
Did you see what he just bought recently? He bought an island that's fortified off the coast of Florida, a fortified island, 19 million bucks. I thought he was broke. See, Mr. Trump doesn't have any money. He's being financed by the world powers. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
Oh, bless.
The reason I talk so much about Mr. Trump is because the Bible tells us that when Jesus comes, there will be a trumpet sounding.
Amen.
Has Mr. Trump sounded?
Amen.
Have you heard about it?
Sure.
Come on, wake up, folks.
No, go back to sleep on that one for sure. When God comes or Jesus comes, trumpets are going to sound, and Donald Trump's name is Trump. And you see, there you are. Oh my God.
Take charge of that man. The Bible called him the man of sin.
Amen.
WWCR, Nashville, Tennessee, USA.
Man, just like God entered into Jesus,
11 o'clock.
the man.
Amen.
He's going to be, Jesus was Christ, God, and he's going to be
Oh, boy. Okay, no comments on that. Well, what are we finding out here? We're finding out that the radio is really quite insensitive to a weak tube. Doesn't seem to make a lot of difference. Okay, so what's V12? V12 is another 6BA6. Let's see. V12. Let's see. 11. 14, 11. Hey, where are you? Here we are. BFO buffer, so we won't worry about that one. What we're going to do now is we're going to start tooling around. There's two oscillator tubes in here, and I think they're both operating right now. I think. So I've got a weak. I got a weak 6C4. I'm going to stick in for the two oscillator tubes, one at a time. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to make sure my 6C4 is weak first.
cabin. You thought it was nice, didn't you? Did you? Well, it's been cozy. Yeah.
6C4.
Hallelujah.
And I told you where it came from. It was a store.
Weak. That's my weak one. Can we
When
all
they start
agree?
investigating on me, they come out and want to know about the big house.
Reject point.
They saw that Jim Baker. Jim Baker had a doghouse that cost
1385.
$90,000. Air conditioning.
About here. Half.
Oh, they finally
Weak.
put him in jail, but he
Okay.
didn't stay long. Now he's out there doing the same thing over again. The other day they caught him selling some snake oil for the virus. Just send me $100 off me. I got this miracle
Just
water
check
here.
the signal generator standard. Right on the zero again. So at least that part of what I'm doing is extremely consistent. The signal generator output very, very steady. Now we're gonna switch this to, but not with that one. With this one. 6C4. So when I pull this out, the local oscillator will stop. What happened there? I shouldn't have cut it right out. Oh, I guess it's just tuning it. Okay, that may mean that the radio may, of course, tune differently with a different 6C4. That mean my whole alignment exercise was completely getting trashed here. I believe it says in the manual there's no tube replacement that requires an alignment afterwards. We gotta put this on. Okay, weak 6C4. And we're higher. We're at +6. How can it be? +6. Okay, let's listen. Sounds louder, but I fooled with the volume. So. That's the weak one.
Your pals is back in heaven. My doctors supply all you need.
Okay, well tell me, listen, go. Oh, you know what? Your 6C4 is weak.
Glory be to God. Somebody in this place.
Yes, Lord.
Come here, Dave. Get up here. How long you been here, Dave?
Now, are we on double conversion? I think we are on double conversion on this band. And so we're going to try changing
40,000, some gold and silver.
Gold and silver, 40,000
64 over here.
Look at that fool.
Pull it out. That should shut the radio off.
Okay.
Praise Lord.
And we'll know we're on double conversion. Okay, that's the 6C4. I'm going to take the weak 6C4, stick it in there. I'm going to put the original 6C4 back here. So in double conversion, there's two local oscillators. What's the matter with me? I think I developed tremendous tube skill here doing this all day. Oh, what's all that? What was that? Why the noise? Not sure why that made that noise. Okay, so weak 6C4 going in V8 here. This is the 3955. Wow. Did that just wipe it out? Did I not get the tubes back in? Well, I wasn't expecting that after all the... Okay, let's put the original 6C4 back in down here. Something funny has happened. Something funny has happened here. Just double checking and see what kind of mistakes I'm making. I am not. 6C4 written right on it. Then you go. Okay, it's in. What do to the radio here? Maybe they're never supposed to pull that tube out with the radio operating. I think this one's gone off. Trying to see the heater in it. I don't know. What happened? Oh, that's the weak one. Oh! You know what happened? I stuck a 6BA6 in there. What a bozo. Okay. That's good news. Apparently you can stick tubes anywhere you like in this radio and nothing happens. I wouldn't follow that advice. Come on, get in there. Man, I tell you, mistakes I make. But I know you don't make mistakes. So we come in there. Okay, so now we have the...
You had a good day.
We're back to the original state. We have all original tubes. We're not getting that. There we are. Ooh, what happened? Hey, what happened there? This radio just jumped. Somebody's loose. I expect it to be the oscillator doing that. See, I'm wiggling the tube around affects it a bit. So we are just below. Tube shield missing. Could that possibly raise it? Huh, right on zero. So having the tube shield off actually reduced the output of the radio ever so slightly. Like a needle's width. So we're going to put the weak one in. Back here. Weak oscillator tube. It's in. See how the oscillator just kicked in suddenly there. Right on the zero. I think a weak oscillator tube, you might be looking for signal to noise weakness and stuff like that. So let's switch to listening to the old radio here. That's weak stare. Strong stare.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Someone called you a good church? But then she heard this old guy, and God said, that's a prophet. And that's been a slogan ever since. A prophet in South Carolina. Hey, you both know where you're at? You're in South Carolina.
Seems fine to me. Again, I wouldn't ever think, oh, there's a weak tube in here. Okay, so I'm going to put the original oscillator 6C4 back in. And the one spot we found a huge difference was the weak BA6
When the riot took place. But remember the riot?
in V9 position.
Came from California, ended up in Newark.
That's the weak BA6. I'm going to try it again. So now we're listening to him. He's running as all 60, around 60. And if we check our standard... Ooh. Oh, that's loose. There we are. A little bit of a antenna signal leaking through. Seems just below the zero. Okay, out with a perfectly good BA6. And in with the weak guy. Oh, come on. Oh boy, did I just bend a pin? Yeah. Something happened there. Don't like doing this live. Like I said before, this is a very forgiving tube socket here. There. I better not represent Canada at the vacuum tube changing Olympics. Okay, so true to form, we're getting a reduced reading here. Instead of coming up to 0, it's coming up to, probably make it to -5, maybe -4. But now we will tune in Brother Stare.
Why'd you leave? Before I had a chance to talk to him, I said, why'd you leave? He said, I was wrong.
And now we're not going to see the 100.
Take this one. And take this as righteous as you
I wonder what was happening there.
I'm telling you. Many guys come with you along here. I wouldn't even let through that door. I like you, though. I'll tell you something else, though. I love you. Here's David Brooks who talks about Nicky Cruz. You ever hear about that? David Brooks went to New York to deal with the gangs. There were 50 or 100 gangs here.
This thing was going up over 100. What was going on?
One night I went out to preach and there was
still doing
a
pretty
gang
good.
who was headed up by Nicky Cruz.
Getting up to 70 there. I don't, when I test off the signal generator, it shows a lower response. We're up to 80.
You looked at Nicky Cruz.
Maybe I just haven't.
And they said, go to hell.
Jeez,
And slapped them.
Brother Stare. So it's doing an 80. Almost an 80. Now, how quick can we do this? Not quick at all. There. Yeah, that was quick.
I looked at Nicky, I said, Nicky, God loves you. Said he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it.
Flew around 40 now.
Because he felt the love of God.
It sounds noisier too. It sounds weaker.
He loves you. Even though you're sinners, he loves you. Even though you did wrong almost all your life, he still loves you. Oh, the love of God. The love of God is greater far than tongue or pen can never tell. It goes beyond the highest star, and it reaches to the lowest hell.
Just got just below 80.
That love.
Hey, it's hot. It's hot, 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 hot. Right in. Now, this is the weak one.
Because the receipt's not too hot for the truth.
Seem noisier?
I could go on and on and on. Story after story, incident after incident, when I should have been wiped right out.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
I was sitting in Harlem, in a wreck. In walks a black dude with a bandana around his head.
In walks a black dude.
Earrings in his ears, one in his nose and one in his lip.
Think there's any
He
black
walked up
people
to
in
me
the
and said,
church?
Give me your money.
In walks a black dude. Give me your money.
I said, no, I'm not going to give him my money. I said, you want something?
Seems noisier. We'll put in the. This would be the good tube. I didn't see the over 100. I don't understand. Don't understand. Right in.
You're not going to get it from me.
Same noise.
So he walked out. He had a gang. He had a gang, about 8 or 10 of them.
Well, I don't know how I was getting this up over
On
half
the way.
day.
I finished my meal. I got up and I walked out. And I looked, there they were. I was so
Okay, I
excited.
think that's it for
I
this
started
kind of
walking
tube
around.
experimenting here because I'm not. Well, what I'm finding out is it's really not that critical to have super good tubes in a radio, like in this radio anyway. I mean, obviously a tube's going to get weak enough; it's going to weaken the radio, and it has to be that way. And but wow. So this radio is actually designed to be on 24/7 forever. It's just meant to be on all the time. This is and that's how it was probably operated. And it could have even spent its entire life tuned to one frequency and just sit in a panel tuned to one frequency for its entire life. It's possible. So, okay, next thing I want to try to do is a little bit of image rejection measurement. Something else I've never really done, but I think I have a good understanding of it, so I should be able to come up with something, and we'll try to measure the image rejection capabilities of this radio. But I have the feeling I've been doing this for well over an hour already, so this might be the end of this video. Yeah, I'm going to make this the end of this video, and we'll try image rejection experiment. So the bottom line here is, as long as your tube is half-assed, it seems to be good for this radio. Okay, thanks a lot for watching.